This is the densest city that I've ever built. And I mean, look at it, come on, that's pathetic. So today, I'm on a mission to build the densest city possible. And don't worry, there is a reason for all of this chicanery, but I'll explain more at the end. And first things first, we're gonna need a map. Let's go with eeny, meeny, miny this one. We'll call it Density. I know, I'm a comedy genius. Now to actually build out this city, I need to be extremely forward thinking because there is literally only one goal. Fit as many people into this map as possible, or at least until my computer breaks. I don't know which one is gonna come first. So with that in mind, I am going to commit a crazy amount of atrocities. And that first atrocity is going to be flattening this entire hill. We're not going for prettiest city, we're going for densest city. Now let's extend this 4-lane road right up until the edge. And I'll be honest, I am a bit worried about traffic, but I also know that if we want to fit as many buildings as possible, then we need to use small roads. And what is this? Why wouldn't it let me build? Old cemetery ruins. Let's bulldoze the cemetery because where we're going, we don't need a cemetery. And for utilities, let's keep this straightforward. We're going to place a transformer station right here, and we'll run this line directly in, which means we now import power. Let's pump our water from this reserve right here, connect this in with an alleyway. And for sewage, I always hate doing this, it hurts the soul. We can send the sewage all the way down this small ravine. Now the majority of this is just going to be low density residential, only because that's all we have unlocked. Anything along our main street is going to be commercial, and that is perfect. It's blowing exactly where I want it to. So let's build a second grid alongside our main street, and this will all be dedicated for industrial. We're gonna have to move through these tiers quickly, so let's click play. I do wanna say that I am purposely restricting my use of mods, and with only 486 population, we already have our first crisis, and that's a lack of labor. Thankfully, we did unlock some medium density housing, and just like that, we are already profitable. But I do wanna incentivize people to move in, so let's drop the tax down to -1%. We will pay you to come live in Density, the greatest, densest city of all time. Now because we've hit milestone 1, we need to place a medical clinic. And I want this close to our main street. And let's use the 1 point that we have to unlock crematoriums. And we just want the cheapest one, so let's go with the France crematorium. And with that, we've hit milestone 2. Now we can place the elementary school. And what's the cheapest high school? Seems like it's going to be this one. As we progress through the milestones, we are going to unlock these signature buildings, and the majority of these buildings come with a pretty big boost, exactly what we need. Because the more we stack all of these boosts, the more people will move into our city, and the faster we can level up. Just like that, we are now milestone 3, and we unlock even more signature buildings, which is great because now we can have 3 gas stations, all within the same proximity of each other. Truly realistic. And placing the Riverside Grill has unlocked us milestone 4, which gives us more signature buildings. The early game progression is so broken, it doesn't even make sense, because we are already stacking a crazy amount of boosts, and you can actually see that our happiness is going up. Even though we have no parks, the majority of the residents are happy. They are complaining about traffic, lack of entertainment, and unreliable healthcare. That's okay because we can help solve some of that. I'm going to add in the cheapest fire station, the cheapest police station, and also a few of the color plazas. That's because these parks give us a +25 to outdoor recreation, and they only cost 16,000. The more boosts we stack, the more people are likely to move into our city, the more happier they are to stay here, and the sooner we can get high density residential demand, but also keep demand, because demand is a very fragile thing, and I don't want to break it. We do have some low rent housing, and of course we're going to use the Chinese low rent housing because it should give us the most amount of residents, but I am interested to know what is the comparison with the Eastern European low rent housing, because I know this is also a bit broken. We're kind of out of space, unless we expanded this island. And I do want to keep in mind traffic, because if we're not careful, this is going to become a bottleneck really quickly. What I'm going to do is instead I'll make a bridge here, and okay, that's not really a bridge. Vanilla is such a weird experience sometimes. Anyways, now what I want to do is curve into this road, because we want to maintain this road throughout the entire grid. Now in these earlier stages, I think it's important to figure out which low density zoning is going to allow us to squeeze the most amount of people into one area. And with that, we are milestone 5, we are a tiny town. This is what I mean when it starts to get a little bit busted. How a steakhouse reduces import costs, I don't really know. I'm actually really loving to see the traffic just flowing through the city. What I'm not loving is the fact that we have no demand, and this is due to unoccupied buildings. We can keep these 2 filters on and look for any buildings that are dark. So we have this one that has 0 residents and this one too. So if I ever have demand problems, I'm going to go through and bulldoze them. And we can see that bulldozing the unoccupied residential buildings did help a little bit. And we do have a traffic problem, but before I even consider taking a look at that, I am noticing that these buildings are essentially row homes. So they only take up 1 unit of space, and they eat up low density demand. So this is actually really good, because usually row homes are considered medium density demand, which means we just have to maximize our usage here by running an alleyway right in the middle. This is going to allow even more low density to fill in these areas. We don't get high density demand until milestone 8. Now we could just wait, or we could farm some XP. All you have to do is spam down any item. The problem with doing this though, is that it blows through your money. So personally, I like to get as much XP from these signature buildings. And that is exactly why, because after placing 4 of them, we've already hit milestone 6. Now, so far we are at 5,000 population, we're making $10,000 per hour, and we have a 17% unemployment rate. That feels just wrong. Because if I had to estimate, this is at least 500 jobs. Okay, wow, I'm way off. 2,575. What we can do to help alleviate this is to add in some southwestern office. Now our low density and our medium density demand is back. And that means we're going to have to buy these 4 map tiles. And it is going to be expensive, but that's perfectly fine because I have the greatest plan. Let's flatten all of this and do a little bit of deforestation. And by a little bit, I mean a whole bunch. Let's upgrade the middle road to be 4 lanes all the way through. And apparently we are too broke to make a grid. That's fine though, because we can just fill all of this with medium density residential. And while that's filling in, I'm going to go back to placing a whole bunch of signature buildings. Now we are having quite a few problems, and if we don't fix these, no one is going to move into all of these empty lots. Let's start with the easiest one, and that's going to be traffic. And I want to remove all of the traffic lights along the main road, but milestone 7 has interrupted us. But now we can remove all of the traffic lights from the main road because the goal is to let traffic move freely throughout the main road. But just that alone is not going to be enough to solve traffic. And you can see that the bottleneck is coming into the city. It's not leaving. We'll upgrade this section to be 3 lanes. And now we're going to branch a 1 lane off of the 3rd lane. We'll cross the water, and why doesn't that make a bridge? It doesn't even make sense. Maybe it would help if I increase the elevation, like an actual bridge would be. Now basically the goal is just to give a bypass option. And come on game, does that really make sense? I'm inclined to keep it just because it looks funny. Yeah, let's keep it. That's going to be a significant help, because now you don't have to drive through the main city, you can just branch off and go all the way to the end. The traffic is still preferring this route. So what we need to do is provide a few more branching options. There we go, there's the first person using it. Whoever this guy is, get back here. Where'd you go? Stop moving, okay? The De La Rosa family. Kinda seems like they just use this as a bypass though. And hey, it's almost all filled in. We can see that we do have a backup here. We just need a secondary connection. And we're not going for most realistic city, we're going for densest city. So we'll do something like that. And just look at that traffic flow. Everyone loves the branching movement, it's amazing. All right, it's been about 20 minutes and we have 14,000 population, almost 1 million in the bank, and we're making $26,000 per hour. We have a massive noise pollution issue, and we only have low density demand. It's so frustrating. How bad is the unemployment rate? It's still 17%. Okay, fine. Here's a bunch of southwestern office. here's a bunch of northeastern commercial. Now to get more demand, we need to fulfill the happiness. And right now we have a high crime risk, noise pollution, who cares about that, unreliable healthcare coverage, lack of entertainment, unreliable internet. What do you mean? We have no internet. How can it be unreliable? Let's place the Northeastern Medical Clinic right there. Then we just need to throw a few parks down. That gives us milestone 8, more signature buildings, but also the number one thing that we care about, high density housing. Unfortunately, we have no demand yet, but we're gonna get that solved real soon. Let's add in a city police station, and we'll make sure to add on the helipad. And people don't like that. Let's unlock the telecom tower, and now everyone has internet and everyone loves it. The only other thing that we could solve would be mail. So first, I'm just gonna place a whole bunch of mailboxes around. Now we just need one big post office, which we're gonna have to place somewhere central. And finally, the Eastern European is filled in. This is a great time to check. It has 75 households and it's only level 2. The Chinese low-rent housing has 180 households and it's also level 2. I know when these level up, they do get a little bit crazier, but I think the Chinese low-rent housing is going to be the winner. Now we do have a bunch of money and a bunch of demand, which means it is time to do some classic expansion. And why do this the right way when we can do this the wrong way? We're gonna buy both of these tiles and we're gonna flatten this out completely. And now with our high density demand, we can fill all of this in. And it is so nice to see some high density coming in. I'm so excited. And there we go. There's the first high density building. It doesn't look very high density though. In fact, it looks very medium density. Strategically, I should have used the Northeastern high density housing or the Chinese high density housing. And there we go. You can start to see our skyline slowly filling in. But once it's done, it's going to be magnificent. Now I want to slowly reduce some of the industrial with office, because this way we can reduce the noise pollution that's traveling to all of these homes, and hopefully, yes, exactly, the zoning starts to fill in. They weren't going to before, but now that we've added in a little bit of a buffer, they're much more willing to. We have garbage piling up at our water pumping station. So let's take the landfill, which is arguably the worst option, but it's also the only option that we have. We'll get this connected into our bypass, which doesn't seem to be doing too well. There we go. That is much, much more reasonable. Now we're gonna have to extend this all the way out. And what is this beside it? Oh, it's some castle ruins. Goodbye. We need space for the landfill. And now that gives us a processing speed of 100 tons per month. And wait a minute, I can see this starting to fill in a little bit more. Yeah, it's slowly coming together. What's blocking our residential demand? Unemployment rate. Okay, we can solve this. Actually, you know what would be even better? If we had milestone 9, because then we could add in high density commercial here. We're basically there. Here, let's place in the Mermaid's Tea Lounge and the Vista building. And there we go, milestone 9. But the only thing that I care about is the high density commercial. And I'll let this go wild, because we need as many jobs as possible. Something I really want to know though, is how many jobs is all of this commercial providing? So, Hillside Town has 4,334 jobs. Honestly, pretty good. We did that in what, 5 minutes? Now you can really see the skyline starting to come together, especially with this building leveling up. And this one too. Yes, keep leveling up, all of you. Get to level 5. What are you now? Level 1? Then why are you so big? It says level 1, but it's clearly on level 2. It doesn't matter though, because we have some more signature buildings to get placing. And one of them is the Grand Dynasty Hotel. Yeah, sure, why not? The Ice Flake Arena. 4% attractiveness, 5 well-being. Come on. Of course we're going to add this in. We're just going to bulldoze a few single-family homes to do so. And Morrissey Supermarket. Yes, of course, of course. The most appropriate place for the supermarket is somewhere where we have to bulldoze a bunch of low density. And it is beautiful. And now we should be stacking quite a few relevant boosts. That's going to help with our demand. But unfortunately, the Grand Dynasty Hotel doesn't have enough customers. But don't you worry, because soon you're going to have too many customers. Now I have a feeling that the noise pollution is messing with our medium and our high density demand. So I definitely think we should solve it. And we should definitely be moving the signature buildings over here with our high density. So let's just add a whole bunch of office. If we're ever having noise pollution, that's what we'll do. We'll just fill in the spaces in between. Although we are having traffic problems still. And I honestly forgot. That's why I bought this tile in the first place. We'll unlock large roads, and then we're gonna unlock intersections. Because this is going to give us the trumpet that we need. We are going to have to delete this track, but it doesn't matter, because where we're going, we don't need tracks. And now that we have this trumpet in place, all we have to do is parallel these two-way highways. And we're gonna need a really good place for them to connect into. And just by looking at this, I feel like it has to be the 4-lane road that we have running through the city. We do have to bulldoze one house, but that is a sacrifice that I am willing to make. Or I guess they're willing to make. Let's also unlock very large roundabouts. And we'll place the biggest roundabout, never mind. We will place the second biggest, never mind. We will place the third biggest roundabout. Okay, come on, game. Okay, fine. We're gonna remake this really quickly, 1 sec. We're gonna place the largest roundabout. There, you can't stop me this time, can you? And that is perfect. Absolute perfection. So now we have more than one way to enter and leave the city, which I think is going to be important for all of our high density demand. And would you look at that? Not bad, although we do have a few houses burning down. Surely we have good fire coverage, right? No, not even close. Oh my, what the? This poor Netherlands fire station only has 2 vehicles and it's dealing with this entire city. Let's add in the city firehouse over here, and that should help with our coverage, and hopefully we won't have as many houses burning down. And would you look at that? We have some roads starting to get some traffic. And yeah, that makes sense. Have you tried not using the alleyway? It's literally not a main road. Oh, when I made the grid, it was slightly off. That's just awful. So basically the problem is that there's no direct connection into this road. And given how much high density is on it, and thank you very much milestone 10, but I'm in the middle of speaking, so stop interrupting me. Wait, yes, interrupt me. We have unlocked skyscrapers, which means it's time to get freaky. Here is the Bell Creek, and of course we have nowhere where this can fit, unless... Now hear me out. What if we just flatten this out, and then extend the road? Now do we have enough room? Yes, perfect. Next up we have the Lighthouse Point. Let's place that right there. Then we have the Emerald Towers, which is mixed use, and we're gonna add this one right there. But then we have the Finance Trum. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want to see. Just like that. Now this one has the elementary school add-on. Let's do it. And this one has the wellness center. And the Finance Trum has nothing. You suck. Density is starting to look like a real city. Kind of. I don't know if I'd call this a real city. Not bad by any means, but it definitely needs a few trees. Just a few trees can change the look of your entire city. Although we are having a massive death care problem, I guess I can help out. There, this one facility has 68 vehicles, but it's still not dense enough. It says we have unoccupied buildings. It's the skyscrapers. This skyscraper only has 282 out of 400 households, and this one only has 116. So while we wait, let's go back to fixing the traffic that I was talking about. Now the easiest way to fix this is just to make this a through road. Basically all we're doing is changing the priority of these roads. Now people shouldn't prioritize this alleyway, and instead they should prioritize Daffodil Street, which means traffic is going to flow way more smoothly through here. I would also expect them to stop using this street. One of the unfortunate things is that Pleasant Street didn't get routed properly. Again, there is a way to solve this. And what we're going to do is use the same complex curve tool, connect in, but this time we're going to make this a one-way, and I want that to continue all the way down from our 4-lane road. And then on the opposite side, we're going to make this a one-way as well. And wow, that's going to bulldoze so many houses. I really don't want to lose population, but we kind of have to. So this one-way is only going to continue to right here, because now we're going to merge back in with our main road, which means we're going to have to bulldoze even more, but that is the life of a high-density city. And why would the game let me make that? That looks so bad. Now there's only one more thing. We have to swap this to be a normal 2-lane, 2-way road. I'm also going to stop left turns from happening here. It's basically just a couplet. That's literally all it is. And while that should help traffic, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. I did build all of this high density on a 2-lane road, because remember, we only have one 4-lane road in this entire city. And I'm doing that on purpose because I want to make sure we have enough space for all of our high density. Speaking of that, we do have some medium density demand. Let's get this in. The best way to do this is to convert some of our older low density into medium density. And we'll also add a little bit of commercial. I'm honestly surprised the commercial fills in. It kind of seems like an easy cheat code to get a whole bunch of density. And now while that fills in, the game is demanding that we give it low density. But no more. We're not doing any more low density unless we absolutely have to. And my worst fears are coming true. We have garbage piling up. I did kind of expect it with our super janky setup, but I was really hoping it wouldn't come this soon. So let's unlock the incineration plant. And this building is just so ugly, I hate it. Let's do the number one thing that I really didn't want to do. We're gonna bulldoze some of this ugly industrial and add in an even uglier incineration plant. This building comes with 75 vehicles. It can process a crazy amount and it can store a crazy amount. And it's just one crisis after another. Okay, we need more sewage capacity. You want sewage? Let me give you sewage. Let's unlock the water treatment plant. And we're gonna place this right behind the incineration plant. Now, we definitely shouldn't have any sewage problems, but we are having healthcare problems. Who knew running a dense city would be so hard? I definitely didn't. The Northeastern Hospital is the only one that looks even slightly dense, so this is the one that we're going with. We're gonna add on the helipad, the trauma center, because you're definitely going to need the trauma center after living in this city. Ooh, more skyscrapers, yes, thank you. Now we can add in the Docklands Tower, and as always, we're gonna bulldoze more low density. And then we have the Seaworth building. So let's place that right there. Now I'm noticing that our skyscrapers still don't have enough residents, which is killing our demand and giving us unoccupied buildings. That is the exact opposite of what we want. And the people in this building only have 3 big complaints. Their homes are way too small. We can't do anything about that. They have a lack of entertainment and there's high noise pollution. So for entertainment, let's give them a park. Actually, let's make it 4. 4 parks. Now how's your entertainment? Oh yeah, no complaints. Perfect. Okay, amazing. And just like that, now we're jumping up to 235, so this building is filling in a lot better. This one is full, and this one is also full, and we can see the medium density demand coming back. Still unoccupied buildings. This is going to drive me insane. Okay, wait. Unreliable mail service. Okay, we can solve that. This is a post office. And this building has a really unique bonus that I think it's probably good to add anyways. So placing this building in reduces the cost of leveling, which in the long term is going to make a very big impact. So let's add it in right here. And now mail should be solid. We shouldn't have any problems with mail for the rest of the city's life. And we're about to crack 50,000 population. 50,000, let's go. But we still need way more because that's not even close to enough. Which means it is time to bulldoze more low density, and we'll replace it with some medium density. And from 50,000 population all the way to almost 80,000, I basically just have to sit here and wait for all of the medium density to fill in. There is a way to bypass that, but I only want to use that as an absolute last resort. I want to quickly check in on the happiness just to see if there's anything impacting demand, and that's unemployment and traffic. We can help out, no problem. I've tried to mix in a bunch of commercial with all the medium density, and I've also added in a little bit of office, but clearly that's not good enough. It seems like we just need way more. So here, what if everything else over here is just office? Oh wait, what if there isn't enough parking? I've seen this in the past, where when I added parking, my demand went way up. So here is the biggest parking building that we can get, and I'm going to make parking free, and we'll also add on the upgrades, milestone 13, yes, thank you. More skyscrapers, which is exactly what I wanted to see. The majority of the tall buildings have been concentrated over here, and I do want to maintain that, and it looks like not enough customers has gone. Whoa, this area used to be filled with not enough customers, and it's just kind of funny because we've added in no transit. But let's add in the Corona right there, and it does come with a bunch of upgrades, which we're going to add on. We just need to unlock university. And now let's add on the university conversion. Now we also have the long wire towers. This building is hideous, but we're gonna add it in. We just need to take out a few buildings to do it. And basically my goal with placing these buildings is trying to minimize the amount of residential that we need to bulldoze, because I'd rather bulldoze commercial. And we have traffic problems all the way down here. Oh wow, it's really backed up. How far does it go? To the outside of the map. That's definitely very reasonable. Oh my god, it's backed up down here too? How far? Okay, just right here. This is what it feels like to drive in Toronto. This is also why I hate Toronto. Now, because we're making so much money, there is a few things that I want to do. First, let's drop the commercial tax down to 6%, and we'll drop office all the way to 6 as well, mostly just because I want to solve the unemployment issue. One of the bigger things that I want to do, though, is bulldoze all of this, and yes, that was an elementary school. We'll make sure to replace it with a much bigger one, like this one right here. Now, the reason why I want to bulldoze this is so that we can add in a bus depot and a bus station. And these routes are gonna be super janky, but I'm hoping this is going to reduce traffic and improve demand. So one of the biggest routes that we need to make is getting all of the high density down to the industrial. And of course, we're gonna make the ticket price free. We want more demand, not less. And now let's have a couple obvious routes. I don't know if they're gonna work because of all the traffic, but we'll have one that goes to the outside world and then comes right back. Ticket price free, and we'll make it a nice green. We are unfortunately out of vehicles though, which means we're gonna need to add in a really big bus depot. And what better place to put that than over by the landfill? To be honest, I don't even think the landfill is needed anymore. That frees up the space for much better things, like road maintenance, which I totally forgot about. And now here are the janky bus routes. That's gonna be perfectly fine for now. We keep getting hit with the same two issues: unoccupied buildings, high unemployment rate. How bad could the unemployment rate be? 26.8%. That is honestly kind of impressive. All right, here's what we can do to help. We're gonna get rid of some of these buildings and replace them with Northeastern office, which should have more jobs. We're gonna have to zone more commercial down here, which is actually amazing because now we can get rid of all of this garbage low density and add in our brand new high density commercial. Yeah, let's solve unemployment. Oh wait, screw unemployment, we have high density demand. Finally, it is time. Northeastern high density, show it to me. I'm gonna need more than 4 buildings, please. That's not even gonna be close to enough. I'll even give you some office right beside your buildings. 24%, we are making some headway. So we just need to keep pushing forward, getting rid of all of the low density, adding in medium or high density office. And just like that, we've hit milestone 14. Now the only skyscraper that we unlocked was a commercial building, but that's fine because we're not too far off from milestone 15. The only problem with this building is that it's so big there's nowhere to put it. Okay, we might have to do a little bit of reworking. And this thing is insane. And it comes with an upgrade for a high school. Amazing. We definitely needed one of those. And our population is now 104,000, and this is what it looks like when we zoom out. Not bad. I mean, it definitely looks a little bit lifeless because the same buildings are on repeat, and they're also taking forever to level up. We do have this signature office building. Again, it's one of those buildings that take up so much space, it's kind of obnoxious. There's nowhere to put it. All right, that's it. It's going right here. This is as good a spot as any. There we go. Finally, enough room. How many jobs? Only 439 for how much space it takes. I feel like that wasn't very efficient. Now we're almost at milestone 15. We are losing a crazy amount of money, and that's because I dropped the taxation all the way down to -10%. Once we bring it back up to -1, we're making money again, which is good because we're gonna need it. We definitely can't go bankrupt. Now I've cleared this space and gotten it ready, and just on time, we have high density demand. Amazing. Here is some Northeastern, and I'm trying to tuck it all very close together because at this point in time, we can't really be wasting space. Now I think when it comes to high density demand, I just need to be a little bit more patient. So I'm gonna zone all of this for high density. And while it fills in, I mean, take a look at the city. 118,000 population. I don't even know how we've made it this far without the city collapsing. And also, how is traffic not worse? I know it's 7:30 p.m., but there's basically no traffic. Oh wait, here's a little bit. All right, let's try and optimize. And now more people can enter and leave the city, but it doesn't matter if this is the bottleneck. So let's turn this into a 6-lane road. And look at this tiny little house in the corner. It would probably be a nightmare to live here. And hold that thought, because we have hit milestone 15. This is what we have been waiting for, because it gives us 2 massive residential buildings. And how much room are we going to need to place this in? Oh, we don't unlock any residential. What did we unlock? The Autumn Spire. Okay, this can help with unemployment. It's still a net positive. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, I guess. The other building was the Houston Yards, and this thing is massive. It's gotta go somewhere down here, right? Let's get rid of the Grand Dynasty Hotel. Doesn't have enough customers anyways, and it's definitely not grand enough. Now this is grand enough. 2,100 households. I think this was definitely worth it, because one of these level 3 buildings can only hold 144. So this is significantly more. And we can add on some upgrades. We can even place in the second tower. And we'll place that right there. There is one important thing though. We cannot waste the space back here. This is extremely valuable space, so we'll make sure to zone some high density. And once it fills in, it's probably gonna look insane. Now we are at 126,000 people, which kind of feels like barely anything. I feel like we should be way higher than this. We are now finally milestone 16. And just in case you're curious, the yellow line is the new bus route. Now we finally have Grandview Heights, and this thing is massive. So we're gonna need to take up an entire block just to place it. But thankfully, it's gonna fit right here. And that should be enough room to place it in, and it is magnificent, but we're still not done. This has some upgrades, which apparently we need 5 million for. Okay, let's take another loan. Now let's add on this upgrade, and this one, and just look at that. Magnificent. And we'll fill the rest in with northeastern high density. Now in terms of skyscrapers, there is one more. That is in milestone 17. We are pushing 142,000 population, so this should give us somewhere around 10,000, which is exactly what we need because this is still not dense enough. And we still have a high unemployment rate, 26%. Look at how much office we have. In total, we have 44,000 jobs, but I can definitely see how that might be a problem given our population of 144,000. So while I wait for the demand to come back, I am just going to bulldoze any of these low density buildings, and instead, I'm going to add in high density office. I'm going to find small spaces like this one right here, and I'll remove the zoning from this side and these two sides. That way this has as much space as it needs. We need to be cramming these buildings together, and maybe adding some parking. There, is that enough? We have next to no parking spaces in this entire city. Whatever happened to the parking garages? And they are at 100% usage. So yeah, we probably need more parking, but we're so tight on space that I really don't want to add any. We do not need low density commercial. We need parking and lots of it. After looking over some of these industrial businesses, I'm noticing that a lot of them only have around 30 workers. And if we zone in office instead, we can definitely beat that. The trade-off is that our city won't be producing anything, but I don't think it really matters. We just need to get the unemployment to a reasonable place. That way we can get more high-density demand. And also, the more industrial that we get rid of, the more room we free up for residential, which I think is going to be a very big win, especially considering that we basically have no room whatsoever. Actually, that gives me an idea. In services, we can drop the electricity fee to 0%. And wait a minute, we're importing 1.5 million? Okay, we're gonna have to solve that. But first, let's drop the service fee for water. This is going to give every single business an efficiency bonus of 20%. So they'll make more money and be more willing to zone in. And look at that one. That one's gonna be tall. Oh yeah, perfect. That's what we need. And now we're making $40,000 per hour. And we'll also pay off a little bit of our loan and get our own power solution set up. And I totally forgot we're too broke to pay for anything. So let's take the loan again and add in the geothermal power plant right here. And there really isn't a good spot for this, so I'm just going to connect it into the roundabout. And now we should be exporting. And yes, we are, finally. Look at our money just skyrocket, which means no more being broke. Finally, we have hit milestone 17. That gives us the Silver Dragon. And I also realized we have the Great Tower of Commerce that we haven't even placed in. And she just barely fits, but there we go. There is the Great Tower of Commerce. And then we have the Silver Dragon. Wait, this building only has 2,500 households? That's it? That's basically nothing. This one has 5,000. You know what, it's fine. After adding those buildings in, this is our skyline. This is how dense we are so far. Honestly, it's kind of crazy because all of this is only 165,000. But is this as dense as it could possibly be? You know, I'm just not so sure about that. I feel like we could easily make this more dense. The last time you seen this city, we were at roughly 170,000 population. And since then, I have spent hours bulldozing low density and then replacing it with high density. And I didn't show you most of it because it was super repetitive and a tiny bit mind-numbing. But now, hours and hours later, 388,000 people live here. And yeah, there's a tiny death care problem. And I did try and solve this. So we have crematoriums here, 2 extra ones right here. Oh right, there's another crematorium over here. Or I guess I should say crematoriums. In total, between these 3 buildings, there's around 150 to 200 hearses. Wait, look, you can actually see them go. Here they are. Now the problem is, they can't get anywhere because they just get stuck in traffic. At some point in time, we had a water problem, and so I just added a bunch of France water towers. And yeah, this is what happens. They end up despawning, so they never make it to any of the buildings. Now sure, I could fix traffic, but that wasn't the point. The point was to build the densest city, and I gotta say, I think we achieved it. The sad thing is, at some point in time, I actually started to like this city, and it kind of made me wish that I took it a bit more seriously, but there's a reason why I didn't. And it's the same reason why we're not building Loon Lake, or even Providence Bay. This for me was a performance test. Now we're gonna swap to Providence Bay really quickly, but before we do, I just want you to take one more look at this city, because it is honestly insane. 390,000 population, and it's still rising. Now, let's swap to Providence Bay, and I'll show you what's happening. And here we are in Providence Bay, a city that's broken my heart. Now, ignore all of the issues that it currently has. I don't have the full playset active. With or without the full playset, this city is plagued by one thing. So I'm gonna click Tab and open up the dev menu, and you can see that even though we're standing completely still, there is 2 issues. Our frame rate will drop anywhere from 8 to 14 FPS. And during that time, we'll see a crazy frame time spike. I've seen this go up to around 200 to 300 milliseconds. What this means is there is a rhythmic stutter in Providence Bay that I cannot solve no matter what I do. To make it worse, typically the longer the game is played, the worse the stutter gets. If we crank it to 3 times, the stutter also happens much more often. Now let's quickly swap to Loon Lake. In Loon Lake, this city has a population of 165,000, and somehow the stutter is even worse. And you can see, as I move around the map, every 4 seconds there is a massive frame time spike, and therefore a massive stutter. If we zoom in really closely, and we just stay still, you can still observe the stutter happening every 4 seconds. And that's actually part of the reason why I wanted to make this video. Now here we are in density. Looking at the dev menu, there is no dramatic loss of FPS. And the biggest frame time spike that I can see has been 30 milliseconds, which is essentially nothing. Like if we just take the camera and we go down one of these roads, I expect there to be a little bit of lag, because this is a very dense city, but there's nothing. It's buttery smooth. We're at 392,000 population and we don't have a single issue. Not only that, but the stuttering happens on other people's cities on completely different hardware. Now, I have always been extremely conservative for every single mod that I download. I don't download anything that touches pathfinding, I'm very careful with the assets that I download, and I try and reduce the overall burden. But clearly, I don't even have to do that. All that to say, I didn't want to abandon Providence Bay, and I don't want to abandon Loon Lake. So hopefully they're going to come back, and hopefully they can be fixed. And that right there is why this city exists. It's a test to see how far can we push the 9950 X3D and the 5090, and we hit 400,000 population without even breaking a sweat. So yeah, I'm going to try my absolute best to fix both Providence Bay and Loon Lake. And if you want to see what's happening, I'm sharing all the info on Paradox forums. Until then, I just wanted to make sure everyone knew, and I'd love to know, what should we do? We could start a new city on a vanilla map, make a few one-off videos. Let me know what you think. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Today's shows go to Jake Hill, Gary Key, Mississippi Mikey, Aiden Fernelski, Dylan Barnett, James Robinson 23, CNN Osmir, Soyen, The Poop Sheriff, Narwhal, Sebastian Gwynn 7807, Tom Beck, and to every single person who supports this channel. I genuinely can't say thank you enough. If you want sneak peeks, save file access, and much more, you can join us over on Patreon or YouTube. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one.